Good day everyone. I am Janan Cabria and I will be discussing Chapter 13, Logistic-Physical Distribution. The strategic role of logistic in retail management is concerned in this chapter. It deals with those issues that form the framework for the redesign of the logistic structure. Physical distribution is a series of activities dealing with the efficient movement of finished product to the customer from the end of manufacturing operation. It takes place within various distribution networks for wholesale and retail, and encompasses such critical decision areas as customer care, inventory management, handling of goods, protective packaging, order procession, transport, selection of warehouse sites, and warehousing. It is also a part of a larger mechanism called distribution, which involves the physical transfer of goods and wholesale and retail marketing. And now let's start discussing the logistic as a core competency. Traditionally, warehousing and distribution systems used by retail companies have been viewed as an operational instrument delivering goods at minimal cost. Modern retailers, however, realize the advantages that can be derived from investment in such system and viewed them as trade-off between cost to the company and providing optimal service to the customer. As such, distribution and warehousing system are the integral part of the company's strategy and the major tool of a competitive differentiation. And when we say logistic, it is a process by which the efficient, effective flow and storage of goods, services, and related information from point of origin to point of consumption is planned, implemented, and controlled in order to conform to customer requirements. And notice that this concept covers inbound, outbound, internal and external movements, the return of environmental materials, and knowledge management. It is also can be defined simply as bringing the right product at the right time in good condition at the cost-effective price to the right location. And for businesses looking to build competitive advantage through supply chain management and logistic leaderships important because it needs to have a social knowledge to be effective in supply chain management and to be responsive and flexible to lead change that transcend boundaries. And retailers' responsibility for logistic management concern the management of the components of the logistic mix, and these can be defined the following basis components that you can see in figure 13.1. The first one is the storage facilities. This might be in the stock rooms of the retail store and warehouses or distribution centers. The second one is inventory. The key question is the amount of stock to be held of each product, and it refers to all products, goods, commodities, and materials owned by a corporation in order to gain a profit or a sale on the market. The third one is transportation. The products have to be transported by ship, truck, rail, or plane from the factory to warehouses or distribution center or the primary distribution, and from these places to the retail outlets or the secondary distribution. And the last one is recycling and reuse. In the last couple of years, retailers have been a lot more interested in activities of reverse logistics. It implies an improvement, return, recycling, and or reuse of packaging materials and the handling goods. This figure 13.1 management task in logistics shows that the retail logistic management involves managing costs and service requirements. In order to do this, retailers can outsource certain operational functions to suppliers of specialist logistic services, while strategic functions are most often carried out by the retailers. It is therefore quite natural that we outsource very little supply chain management control. The next one is restructuring logistical systems. Increased control over primary distribution. Retailers also expanded their control of the supply chain, both upstream and downstream, as a result of increased competition. Upstream, that is from the factory to the retailer or distribution center, and downstream, that is from the warehouses to the retail stores. And many retailers have integrated primary and secondary distribution operations. They manage all transport operation, even primary and secondary transport, and run them as a single network system. This vertically integrated supply chain leads to a new pricing structure in the supplier-retailer relation, and that is what we call factory gate pricing. This figure 13.2, value added through logistics, shows that not only does logistics account for the significant proportion of overall cost, but it is also an important contribution to commercial value. If retailers are more effective in managing items, then retailers added value. The next one is rationalization of warehousing. The power over secondary distribution has also increased by retailers. They have traditional or central or regional warehouses that have been restructured so as to reduce inventory levels and boost commodity flow. This has involved reducing order lead time and moving to a more frequent delivery and small consignment both internally between distribution center and shop and externally between supplier and distribution center. This has greatly increased both the rate of stock turn and the amount of product being cross-docked rather than stored at distribution center. And this rationalization of warehousing has two types, and these are traditional warehouse and distribution center or DC. In traditional warehouse, goods are stocked, which is very costly activity. The inventory is costly and can become outdated. In addition, there are many activities related to the physical movements of goods, product in, let down, picking, and goods out. And a manual handling system is mainly used by traditional warehouses. That said, finding any kind of automation used in part of handling, including forklift truck or conveyors that improve the operation of the houses, is not uncommon. And distribution center or transit terminal is intended to run stockless in contrast to silos. The retailer can move from keeping stock to a just-in-time approach. And distribution center is a building for product storage and shipping that stores items that a company manufactures until shipping to wholesale, retail, or consumer. Distribution center are a vital part of the distribution chain for items, order fulfillment, and storage for manufactured goods. And the product required in retail stores are delivered by the manufacturers or collected by the retailers to the logistic platforms. And this figure 13.3, structure of a warehouse, shows how to define the overall structures of facilities, warehouses, stock zones, and location. The products are delivered to a platform on separate pallets or in parcels for each retail store.
Hello everyone, I am Ana Clarissa de Sabrapena, reporter for this topic, Integrating Reverse Logistics, and I hope everyone will listen. Integrating Reverse Logistics. The increased return flow of packaging material and handling the recycling or reuse of goods have become a major challenge in retail logistics. Logistics. It means the management of transportation of information from one place to another. In logistics, it involves things like transportation, inventory, packaging, supplies, and sometimes social security and warehousing. Logistics is important because it plays a key role in the economy to support the movement and the flow of many economic transactions. Because if goods do not arrive in the correct place or condition, no sale can be made of. However, reverse logistics, it is used when goods are moved from their final destination to another location to recapture the value or for final disposal. The product may be returned because it doesn't meet the customer's needs or it has reached the end of its service life. In simple means, reverse logistics is a strategy in supply chain management in which a company collects and reuses some parts of their distributed good, or more likely a supply chain network that creates a path for companies to reach consumers. For example of these are an Apple. Apple is a fantastic example of successful reverse logistics. Apple manufacturers like iPhones and other products which are then sold in various stores across the world. Consumers purchase iPhones and enjoy the product until they want to upgrade their product. When consumers return to a store to buy the latest model, Apple offers consumers discount on a new product. If they return their old product, Apple then collects the old models and bring the products back to their factories. This process allows Apple to use parts from previous models in their new products, helping Apple be more environmentally friendly and save money on production costs. And that is what integrating reverse logistics do. Circulation system. The recycling and reuse lead to a circulation system in which retailers play an important role. As what I said earlier, reverse logistics is a strategy in supply chain management in which a company do. In acquiring reverse logistics in circular economy, they follows the 3R approach, which are the reduce, reuse, and recycle. These are what returns management activities do. They include repair, warranty recovery, redistribution, value recovery, product and service contract returns, product recalls, used equipment and replacement parts of a refurbishment, resales, or sales or raw material. Try to look the image below. In circular economy, and by following the 3R approach, the reuse of products and parts is maximized as reuse, and the raw materials are reused or recycled to a high standard. Products can also be converted into service, such as Spotify that sells listening licenses instead of CDs. In this system, value is created by focusing on value preservation. As you can see in linear model, it deals with raw materials in an inefficient way because their emphasis is not under conservation. However, in circular economy, this is their focus. This means that other businesses models are also used in circular economy with more emphasis on services rather than products. The perspective in sustainability is different in a circular economy than in a linear economy. When working on sustainability within a linear economy, their focus is on eco-efficiency. This is to minimize the ecological impact for the same output, and it will extend the period in which the system becomes overloaded. But in a circular economy, sustainability is sought in increasing the effectiveness of the system. This means that not only the ecological impact is minimized, but the ecological, economic, and social impact is even positive. For example, in production of beef, raising cows for beef results in emission of methane gas, a strong greenhouse gas. In a linear economy, the production of beef is made more sustainable by changing the way cows are fed, so that they emit less methane gas for the same amount of the meat. This makes product more eco-efficient. But in circular economy, production is made more sustainable by not making beef from cows, but by imitating it as a meat substitute for the beef substitute. Plants are then grown, then contribute to biodiversity, employment and landscape and management. In this way, the ecological, economic, and social impact of the same production of beef is increased. The difference between a linear and circular economy. In linear, they take, make, dispose. That is their step plan. However, in circular, they use, reduce, reuse, recycle. In linear, they focus on eco-efficiency. However, in circular, they use eco-effectivity. In linear, it is a short-term system. And in circular, it is a long-term, which is that means the product is more on long life. Outsourcing and joint physical distribution. Retailers can outsource certain logistical functions, such as transporting or warehousing to logistics operators. Outsourcing. Outsourcing your distribution involves handing over control of all distribution-related activities to a third party. This comes with a certain risk, including losing control over certain marketing aspects or pricing of your product. In product distribution, it requires a huge amount of planning and painstaking logistics. from order, handling, stock, control, and storage, to packing, dispatch, and delivery of goods. If your business is not capable of performing all these activities by itself, you may want to consider partnering with an experienced logistics company to distribute your products for you. As you can see in the figure below, the joint forces of three factories sends their product to an haulier. A haulier, these are a company or a person that transports goods by road. From the factory, it sends to the retailer house, and lastly, send it to the retail store. In some situations, this is a disadvantage of outsourcing distribution. Outsourcing your distribution involves handing over control of all distribution related activities to a third party. This comes with a certain risks, including losing control over certain marketing aspects or the pricing of your product, distributor wanting discount on products and privileged credit terms, and lastly, distributor demanding long-term exclusive agreements which can lock you in a contract even if the agreements fail. The broad principle here is that the greater the number of participants, the greater their synergy opportunities, and the greater the chance of delivering action within the logistic and network services provided by their community. A collaborative approach between manufacturers, their suppliers, and customers is envisaged, aimed at optimizing physical flows executed via community or service providers, working to common commercial principles. The approach to this collaboration is to establish a shared view on how best to achieve the principles above. The opportunity collaboration between of all these and the joint forces of the IT, logistics, and finance, they shares all the information. Just what like I said earlier, it combines by the cost allocation mechanism. It defines what services are being provided and what the service cost. It also establishes a basis for allocating this cost to business units or cost centers based on their appropriate shares of such cost and information.
Good morning, everyone. I am Audrey Katbagan. So, this is the last part of our chapter. So, my first topic is about distribution of online purchases. Over the past decades, many e-tail businesses have failed primarily because of an inability to provide cost-effective order fulfillment. So, online retailers providing a delivery service to the customer's home, especially groceries retailers, are faced with the greatest logistical challenge. For new players in web-based retailing, online shopping imposes new logistical requirements such as new distribution centers and vehicle. So the traditional catalog mail orders company have long-term experience of delivering at homes. They can also extend this experience to online purchases. So next, as you can see from the figure 13.7, bali dito, makikita mo yung process kung paano mo makukuha yung product or order mo galing through online. So, as in process siya nung product or order mo from supplier hanggang matanggap mo yung product. So, sa figure 13.8 naman, dito naman, parang same process lang siya, pero dito, meron ng may mga nagre-retail na. So, alam niyo naman siguro yung direct supplier na tinatawag. So, dito sa binibilugan ko, dyan yung mismong process ng direct suppliers. Tas dito naman is yung process ng mga retailers. So, dito sa process ng retailers, mas mataas na yung price ng mga products mo kasi may mga patong na to. Kung nagbi-business kayo, pag sa direct suppliers nyo kinuha, mas mababa. Tapos pagka kayo na yung magbebenta, syempre automatic may patong siya. Kaya dito sa process ng retailers, mas mataas na yung mga price ng product mo. So next is conclusion and outlook. So the last few years have produced many claims about retail exchanges. So An FRID system consists of a reader, a transponder, and a computer network. RFID readers are devices that send out radio signals on a continuous basis and look for a response from one or more transponders. A computer network transmits the information from the transponder. However, given the current state of technology, the transponder need to be within a particular range of the reader to make a connection. So next, so from table 13.1, there are three functions which is superior, alternative to barcode, next, bear additional information, third, so here the active transponder, which are more expensive, use their own source of energy and therefore transmit more information. A number of different benefits can be derived from ARF technology. So, if you are asking what is the meaning of RFID, it is radio frequency identification. So, that's all. Thank you.